I hope yesterday's webinar was interesting and useful to some of the parents here or all of the parents here. Today we would like to go ahead with the topics playtime and reading to children. The first speaker of the day of the webinar today would be Ms.Prajna Kodgi. She has 6 years of experience in the field and she's currently working as assistant professor in the Department of Speech Language Studies at Dr. Chandrasekhar Institute of Speech and Hearing. And her area of interest lies in neurological speech disorders and language disorders. Over to you, Ms. Prajna.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. I would like to welcome you all for the second day of webinar, that is Synergy, Parent and SLP. So yesterday we had discussed about screen time, if you all remember, right? So we discussed about its advantages, we discussed about its disadvantages. So we came to a conclusion saying that if it is not monitored and you're giving an increased screen time, then it will hinder speech and language development skills, right? So let's get started then today, looking into the playtime, making it goal-oriented, and how to plan the activities following to it. So we all know that children will do different types of play. Either they can play parallelly, they will associate with each other, they will cooperate with one another, and then play with each other, right? So when it comes to an outdoor activities, they get great opportunities. They get different kind of enriched speech and language stimulations by interactions. They get even experience or exposure will be improved likewisely. Okay, but when it comes to indoor activities for kids, then it's easy for us to think about the activities or plan according when it comes to art, when it comes to science, when it comes to math. But what about speech and language stimulation? So creatively, we have to plan as being family members to keep the children engaged in such times. So now, before I even get started, I would like to thank these platforms because there are like creative people out there who have showered their ideas. I'm here to share it with you all and also give the viewpoint of speech and language stimulations here. So let's get started with the first, that is eye contact. Eye contact is very much important. It's a key for speech and language development, I can say, because you maybe disordered children such as autism have difficulty in looking at the face and giving an contact, right? So when that becomes difficult, we have to get their attention. To grab their attention, these masks will help in just to make sure that to look at us or take the information. Okay, similarly we have to keep in mind that the children has to be placed at the level of the eyes, and also they will get a lot of non-verbal and verbal cues from it. It could be the emotion related, it could be the speech sounds, how it is produced. So we get a lot of information, so please keep in mind they have to be held at the eye level. Also, the objects, whatever we are going to show it to them, also should be held at the eye level, so that the reference, whatever you are referring to the objects, as well as to the information what you are giving, the child should have an easy access. That's why it should be kept at the level of the eye. And there are few children who has this, they can be either underreacting or overreacting to certain stimulus. It could be sound, to different textures, to the touch and all. In such cases, what can be done? We have to plan the activities for a sensory stimulation. So now here you can see in the picture, there are different type of pulses, grains, or you can keep the cotton balls over there and then place it inside the balloon. Okay, so when it is placed, what you can do, give that to the children and make them feel the experience of different textures. And also you can ask them to match later. They can guess what was there inside the balloon also. So similarly, you can see the other picture with the soap, flour, it could be sand, rice, corn, anything. Or else, interestingly, you can give a tub which is filled with the rice, or it could be filled with sand or something, and you can hide the toys which they like or different shapes of objects and ask the child to search for the object. That also enriches the child with a lot of sensory stimulation. Here you can see the lids which are placed on the left, and then you can paste so many things on it, different textures, like you can place leaves, buttons, cotton balls, sandpaper, scrubber, cardboards, cloth of different texture. It could be velvet cloth, towel, floor mats, them in or jute ropes, beads, pulses, anything in that matter. So also you can make the children play with the clay or even the rollers. It could be plastic rollers, it could be wooden rollers, or even the mats of different textures can be given, or you can make a board with different textures so that the child will get an experience over all of this. Also, to make it much more interesting, you can give the patterns. Here you can see a zigzag pattern is given, and you can help the child in making certain patterns also in a tub, or you can do with shapes, numbers, and other concepts if the child has good uh, abilities. Based on the abilities, you have to design your plans. Likewise, we gave the sensory stimulation to the fingers and hands. Simultaneously, you can also plan to give it to the feet as well, right? So you can give the different textures and make the child hop from one to other. You obviously you can help the children at that point. Or if the activity gets boring, you can also think of placing the tubs with different textures or mats of different texture or sponges, and make the child walk over it by helping them. Okay. So these are few sensory stimulation techniques we looked into, and few now we'll look into the pre-linguistic behavior. When I say it is eye contact, attention span, sitting behavior, hand-eye coordination, and compliance. So all of these things goes hand in hand. A child has to be seated in one place, attend to the stimulus, use certain instruments which you are given, and then perform the activity with good coordination and things like that. So let's look into how to keep the children engaged at home. So I'll start with a very simple activity. I'm sure you will all have buds and boxes at home. So what you can do is make a small holes over it and ask them to insert the buds inside that. So children will take a lot of attention is required slowly to put and place it within the hole. So you can give filling bottles as well as baskets simultaneously. Here you can see in the second picture, it is the you can recycle the water cans and then place the cotton ball inside it. So you can see it much more interesting way it is being done by giving good appearance to the water cans and asking them to place, throw, or even pick cotton balls or marbles or plastic balls or aluminum foils or paper ball, anything to that matter. You can think more creatively and give them to perform the activities. This sounds interesting. I think scooping from water. I'm sure all the children will enjoy water games. So here you can keep a tub which is filled with half water, and then you can place any floating object to that matter. Here you can see the small tennis plastic balls are kept, and otherwise the caps of the water cans can be placed, and then ask them to scoop from or strain, as you can see, strain and put it into the different baskets. Okay, here you can introduce lot of things when you are stimulating the child. Oh, you are doing you're picking it. You can give the verbs to them. You can describe on colors. You can describe on texture of objects which are floating over there. So many things you can be done simultaneously. Next is the stacking. So at home, I'm sure you will have a lot of cardboards, right? You can use that very creatively and give a nice appearance so that the child feels attracted towards it. So what you can do is maybe the child can repeat something after you and then place the rings one after the other. They can even stack you can creatively think cutting the straw pieces and then placing the broomsticks and asking them to stack one after the other. If you're scared to give the non-edible things, then why don't you plan giving something edible, so that it's okay if the child places those things inside the mouth as well. Next is following a path. So now here you can see the path is made with the concept of numbers, that is 2, and they have used the blocks to secure, and the child is asked to follow the path and come to the exit. Okay, similarly, you can even draw lines in different chalks over the ground or paints and ask them to do the grossly walk over the path. This also needs attention to follow one single line. Okay, and otherwise you can even have a footprints. You can see in the third picture where you will have the footprints which which is placed differently, right and left versus, so they have to just follow the path, and you can even time it saying that how fast you can perform these items. Next is the straw maze activity. So here you can see you are given a straw, and you will give something light object, it could be plastic balls, and then ask them to follow the maze and come to an exit. So this also requires a lot of attention and coordination as well. So balancing task is the next one, where you are asking the child to keep something on the head, balance it, and follow this particular loop. Okay, then simultaneously you can, these are all creatively you can think at home. It is a cardboard and a plastic ball which is kept to balance and walk as fast as the child can. Or else you can, I'm sure nowadays we order a lot of things from the Flipkart, we order from Amazon. We will have a lot of boxes available, so you can think creatively, putting a joker or make some face over here, draw it. If you are not good at drawing, then you can take a printout of something and stick it to it and ask the child to place these balls inside the hole. So simultaneously, I'm sure you can see what is there in this picture. They are doing a catch game, where here, recycled cans are used. And here also a basket where the child can be hitting with a stick or kicking it, making it much more fun. Next, what is this throwing? That is throwing a rocket. So you can make a way for it by cutting the paper in circular form and ask the child to aim the rocket towards that particular way. Next is as simple as placing here nothing but you can just draw small round circles over a thing, and you can give colored water droppers to the children, where they can just drop each of the drops over the circles. Okay, so it is as simple as that. Or you can even place something, these kind of the child can stack it or place it one after the other based on what the color is being recommended. So this is very simple activity where you can do with any cardboards at home. Now, to make it much more interesting, here they have taken the cardboard which is placed a printout of a porcupine, and then chalks can be used. You can make holes over it and ask the child to place one chalk over particular hole. So that also makes good art from the child's side, and also it looks a little more interesting. Next, yeah, water games again. So child will love to pour from one uh, beaker to the other. Or you can also make such kind of arrangements for recycling the Coca-Cola bottle if you have so. And I'm sure the child will love to track the water and refill the thing again. Now next activity is aiming at a target. So all the boxes what you have, just you need to make that the ball enters that particular hole. Okay, and you can even make a target goal for the child to place the put these balls inside. Or even you can use the prill bottles, the pressure of it to move those coins, okay, into that particular goal. Or even as simple as this, roll the ball and put it to the target. I know kids get bored easily. So what you can do is either change the task. Once you can say flick it, the other time you can say kick it, and or you put a golf. Okay, so you can change the activities accordingly. I know that at home we will have lot of trays, that is egg trays, so which are recyclable. You can make it and creatively think of making the boats in it and ask the child, if you have the provision, please give the opportunity for the child to sail boats. So next is a painting task. I think kids will be very much interested in doing such. What you can do is make the fingerprint painting from their end, and you can give the appearance of an aquarium to them, or a flower things or animals to it, so that it becomes much more interesting or self-motive for the child to perform these activities. Simultaneously, what you can see here is a food tray, right? So the recycled fruit tray you can use. If not the paint brushes, you can even secure it with the cotton and the clip, and then give them the painting task. And you can create the impressions over the page. You can take different shapes of cardboards and paste it over it, and then once you paint, the child can do the impression of it, or like a stamping. You can see here that gives children less messier, as well as gives them interest in performing the task again and again. Yeah, to reduce the mess, again, you can give them the paint and cover it with a plastic so that they can merge it and they can play with the painting related aspect. So to continue with that, you can creatively think on how I can give you. This is a recycled Coca-Cola bottle which is present. You can dip it and then again do the impression. You can use the straws for it. You can use vegetables for it, or even balloons in that case, or even you can use the forks or a toilet roll or butts. Okay, so anything you can, because every time you need to change the activities and give to the children so that the children will enjoy the activities, though it is the same old painting. Similarly here, leaves, apply paint and then give the impression, or a blow painting is also again next good idea. Give the appearances of you can frame it later, their artwork, or even the blowing task they can do, and then you can frame it likewise. Here you can see the cardboard which has a finger cut shapes. So what they can do is a nail paint. Okay, even they can perform a lacing. Here you can see the macaronis which are glued and placed, and ask the child from one end to lace it around or thread it around. Or here you can see the straws. Keep the parts ready for the child to insert the thread across it. Or even a shoe lacing can be taught to the children, which is again a minute fine motor ability. So depending upon the child's ability, you have to plan the activities. Here you can see a tracing activity. Either the child can barely use their finger to trace it, or you can give a thermocol balls for the child to trace it across, or you can see a different ridge type of cardboards are used in different patterns and ask the child to do a tracing task. Or you can arrange the objects accordingly and the children has to trace across it. Okay, so simultaneously they have done in the whiteboard. Okay, across the penguins they have to go for a road map, or they can trace with an object across. So you can change the activities and give the children to perform the task. Here you can see if the child is big enough to play with the car, then a road maps can be done. And then here in the second picture you can ask the child to now move from the parking lot even to the home or something where they can go across in the road map and reach it. Next is the weaving task. Okay, so here what you can do is you can give the woolen threads to the child. You can place a straw and secure the end so that the needles are not used here. So already there will be holes which is made by a parent. Okay, and then they have to weave it accordingly, or else they can even use different paper strips to perform the same task. You can think of creative ideas and give to children to perform those. Next is clipping task. Yeah, you can even give, you say that it's all washed, dry clothes. So you can dry it by clipping it. Okay, and you can give the impression where they can match the color, they can match in terms of numbers and different. If you have a plastic box at home, you can secure it with the rubber band and then ask them to do the clipping task. If you have small um, track here, so then you can use those also creatively to perform the same task. So that here also hand-eye coordination is required, attention is required to clip that particular object and things like that. Next is pasting. I know that children will love doing it, right? So what you can do is, as you can provide a lot of verbs in it, and then pasting. You can say that pick it, command following single step or multiple step, and ask them to do a paste and say it verbally. Okay, so gluing. So a lot of nouns also you'll be introducing simultaneously. So likewise, you think creatively, pasting even the cottons, or even you can make a finger print, cut it, and then you can give a appearance of a feathers over there. Or even with a toilet roller you can give different shapes, ask them to match and paste it. Okay, or even the collage, that will be good idea so that the child will be engaged in performing these activities. Later, seasonal wise, you can give them the information, you can give clothing, all of the new concepts can be introduced. You can describe when they are doing the pasting task, and then you can describe and how beautiful the work is being done by the child. And very fine motor, if their ability is good, then you can go with the pasting the buttons, or even it could be grains. Here you can see corns which are placed. Or if the child is bored of following a pattern, then you give one certain activity, like picture of an animal where the child has to sit and fill it and complete the task. Okay, so all this requires a lot of attention. Next is a cutting task. As you can see, either use a cardboard which has a handprint, or which a parent can do it, or you can also use a glove, and then you can paste to give the appearance of a nail, and then let them do interestingly a nail cut activity, or trimming the hair or the beard, or even the grass activity you can give them. So I'm sure they will love to do certain things, because they will sit at one place and give lot of attention to perform for a longer period of time. Then, to make it cutting more interesting, yeah, here you can see a mermaid with a longer hair. You can tell kids to give a haircut, or give the appearance of wool in a sheep. It could be with these strips of papers, and ask them to cut those, or freeing up the animals, so it gives an appearance of a zoo, isn't it? So you can say, just cut those strings and give free the panda to move anywhere. So you can give lot of new vocabulary, saying it's panda, it's a zoo. Concept related information can be implemented to likewise. Here what you have is a picking task. I know a bowl of water is present with these rubber bands floating on it. The child can be given a broomstick or a simple stick and ask them to remove each one and put it outside. And simple puzzle games can be used. Puzzle games, homemade puzzles, you can draw, and then these are just the ice cream sticks. And here you can see the toilet roll which is used. The child has to arrange to make it a right animal by picking which is appropriate body parts. And also you can introduce matching tasks. Here what I can match is the pattern of the body of each animal. I can match here. Shapes and sizes can be matched. I can use the broomsticks to match it, or even the color patterning can be matched. Here you can see a cardboard with different fruit shapes. The child has these all velcroed, so the child has to pick one fruit, and where exactly it matches with the shape can be placed. Even picture and object matching the child can perform, or even the matching in terms of the shape. Okay, by using the ice cream stick again. Here you can see the shoe box which is creatively used. Likewise, in the same concept can be dealt by thinking creatively. Here you can ask the children to perform different types of emotions. You can make an angry face, sad face. You can give the circumstances when it happens, and things like that, where they can recognize and appreciate the different types of emotions. You can even use emojis. Okay, so these are few of the tasks which are given. Okay, so once the child performs it, it's always nice to reward the child. So some certain type of reinforcers should be kept for the child. So you can make it at home only every time, not necessary to to provide them with chocolates or something. So expectations keep becoming higher every time, right? So what you can do is give them with the finger puppets every set of tasks which they perform. You can give with the finger toppers also. You can do all this creatively at home itself. And even you can use the waste aspect. It could be paper plates, or toilet rolls, or the cups, and give the appearance of a car. Even the chicken parachutes and things like that. Homemade drums can be done. Homemade flyer sauces can be done. Floating ball, I think
Okay.
enjoy this activity because it's a straw with a funnel appearance, and creatively you can do something so that the very light object is placed. Whenever the child blows, it moves up and comes down. Okay, so these type of activity things can be provided to the child as a reinforcer, so that the child feels much more happy to get involved in the activities and improve their pre-linguistic behavior, because that is very much important, and it's a stepping stone to develop speech and language skills. So yeah, we should all remember remember, play is a work of childhood. So let them enjoy, and you cooperate with them, providing them much more explorative games, so that it's just not sticking to the screen time, giving them the phone or mobiles, but still you can make much more things and have their good childhood. Okay, by saying that, I'm going to uh, I'm done with the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Prajna. It was indeed a very good and excellent presentation of play activities for children. All these activities can actually be used with even children who have normal speech and language development, just to keep them occupied instead of giving the screen to them or gadgets that keep them occupied. It was a very good presentation. Thank you, Ms. Prajna.